Hello, I'm Amy Zaby with the Jerusalem Connection Report Red Alert for Wednesday, December 27, a year-end review. This year is winding down, and I wanted to reflect on both the activities of the BDS movement and the successes in the fight against it. This is an exhausting but encouraging review. Last January, the U.S. was able to inaugurate a president for the first time who not only provided lip service for the support of Israel, but actually took actionable actions. First, it appointed Nikki Haley to the UN, and she is a vehement supporter of Israel and is outspoken in her pushback on the floor of the UN for bias that is obvious and overt. As of January 1, 2018, the U.S. will divest itself and its money from UNESCO because of its repeated bias against Israel and its resolutions that there is little or no Jewish identity and history in the Holy Land. It does this through subversive language and use of subversive tactics. Not only that, the Trump administration had promised from its inauguration that it will recognize Jerusalem and move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem as the capital city. In early December, the Trump administration officially made that announcement and recognition. These world accomplishments are in effect ways that undermine the BDS movement. Boycott, Divest, and Sanction is a movement that attempts to economically and politically and through PR measures starve Israel off the face of the map. This BDS movement often works on U.S. college campuses where they attempt to grab hold of students who have no mature understanding of world history and events, nor the critical thinking skills to analyze it. These are things that they should be obtaining while studying at college. In many cases, unfortunately, the faculty and administration seem to enable these BDS efforts. However, well over half the United States governments, that is, the local governments in each state, have officially recognized BDS as anti-Semitic and discriminatory, and as such, already violating U.S. laws. Moreover, these legislation activities in the last year demand that no state funds or facilities can be used or exercised with organizations that do participate in BDS activities. The Congress is also in the process of refining legislation from the 1970s that was targeted against Arab League efforts to boycott the state of Israel. The revision of these 1970 laws are trying to address the same spirit with BDS activities and organizations. In addition, most recently on December 14th, Nikki Haley, with unabashed resolve, reacted against another UN resolution. Last Monday, the UN voted to not recognize the Trump Declaration on Jerusalem as the eternal capital and officially note the Jerusalem issue as unresolved. This was the first time the United States has exercised its veto power since the administration started. This resolution by the UN was to reaffirm that the UN holds Jerusalem to be an unresolved issue and not to recognize the U.S. assertion. Following the vote, Haley called it an insult and said that it would not be forgotten. She further said about the U.S. veto, quote, "We do it with no joy, but we do it with no reluctance. The United States will not be told by any country where we can put our embassy." Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel tweeted his thanks by saying, "Thank you, Ambassador Haley." Excuse me. "On Hanukkah, you spoke like a Maccabee. You lit a candle of truth. You dispelled the darkness. One defeated the many. Truth defeated the lies. Thank you, President Trump." Moreover, a recently and surprising study by Brandeis University noted that most students, the majority at major universities, overwhelmingly oppose boycotts of Israel. This groundbreaking study can be found if you Google Brandeis University BDS Study 2017. As well, an Arab Israeli is the first Rhodes Scholar this year from her ethnicity, Leah Najami. She's a polished speaker, and when it comes to boycott, divest, and sanctions, and that movement against Israel, she has made a case that it hurts all Israelis, including the very Arabs it's supposed to help. Quote, "As an Arab Israeli, I would like to tell them no thank you. Academic boycotts especially prevent us from exchanging and challenging ideas, and this is something we want here. Her Israeli advocacy has brought her heroic status by so many Jews. On the other hand, many Arabs have been criticizing her for allegedly choosing her Jewish nationalism over her Palestinian cause, a Palestinian cause. Her response, quote, "They do not understand why I speak out for Israel. I tell them I'm coming from an agenda of really wanting to help the Arab-Israeli voice be heard and to make sure Arabs in Israel are treated equally." She identifies neither as a Zionist nor as a Palestinian cause proponent. She was raised in a highly integrated Haifa neighborhood, and she saw firsthand how Arab citizens are afforded great opportunities in education as well as access for help, since she has a neurological disability that manifested at age 12, and she had received premier care and help from her nation, Israel. Reflecting on this year, we saw progress against the BDS movement at the international stage level and at the individual student level, from academics to legislation to economics. This doesn't mean that the BDS movement is defeated. It does not mean that anti-Semitism has been stamped out. In fact, it's put anti-Semitism and BDS on the defensive, and it rears an even uglier head than ever. Keep your prayers going in 2018, as these battles are many, even though we know who will win the war in the end. God bless and have a very happy new year. Shavua Tov.